Hello dear learners, we are going to start from second paragraph on page number 23 of lesson The Kingdom in the Kingdom of Fools. But the king consulted his minister and ruled decisively. Decisively means convincingly. It is true your father is a true murderer. He is dead, but somebody must be punished in his place. You have inherited means received from someone who died. Everything from that criminal father of yours, his riches as well as his sins, I knew at once, even when I first set eyes on you, that you were at the root of this horrible crime. You must die. So the king had always consulted his ministers before taking any decisions. He agreed that it was not his fault that he made a weak wall, but his father, who is dead by now, someone had to be punished in his place. Since the merchant had inherited everything from his criminal father, hence his riches along with his sins were the root cause of the problem and held the merchant guilty, responsible for it. The king claimed that he had seen this right from the time he had set his eyes on him, that he indeed was a horrible man who was responsible for the crime, and so he must die. And he ordered a new stake to be made ready for the execution. As the servants sharpened the stake and got it ready for the final impaling of the criminal, it occurred to the minister that the rich merchant was somehow too thin to be properly executed on the stake. He appealed to the king's common sense. The king too worried about it. So the king ordered a new stake. Stake means a metal stick to be made ready for his execution. As the servants, they started sharpening the stake and prepared it for the final impaling. Impaling means hanging of the criminal. So the criminal could be hanged on that. It occurred to the minister that the rich merchant was too thin to be executed on the stake. So he appealed to the king. Common sense that the king too, and the king also became worried about it. The king too worried about it. Appealed means requested the king. What shall we do? He said when suddenly it struck him they all needed to do was to find a man fat enough to fit the stake. The servants were immediately sent all over the town looking for a man who would fit the stake, and their eyes fell on the disciple who had fattened himself for months on bananas and rice and wheat and ghee. So the king was wondering what to do now. Then it struck him that they should look out for a fit person who could fit the stake. The servants were asked to search for such a man. They went out looking for a fat person. And whom they found out? They found out the disciple who had fattened himself by feeding on bananas, rice, wheat and ghee. So instead of punishing the merchant, they found out a fat man who could be fit into the stake to be executed. What I have done wrong? I am innocent. I am a sannyasi, he cried. The disciple asked what wrong he had committed. He said he was a sannyasi and was innocent. That may be true, but it's a royal decree. Decree means law, order, that we should find a man fat enough to fit the stake. They set and carried him to the place of execution. He remembered his wise guru's words. This is a city of fools. You do not know what they will do next. So the disciple said that whilst it's true that he had eaten lot of bananas and became fat, but he had not done any crime. But the officials, the courtiers, explained that he was right, but they had been ordered by the king to find a fat person. It was then that the disciple remembered his guru's words, that it was a city of fools and one could never guess what they would do next. While he was waiting for death, he prayed to his Guru in his heart. So, when the things were made ready for execution, he prayed to his Guru, asking him to hear his cry and come to his rescue. The Guru saw everything in a vision. He had magic powers. He could see far and he could see the future as he could see the present and the past. He arrived at once to save his disciple. So the Guru had the magic powers. He had a vision in which he saw what was happening, to see the future as well as to see the present. So he reached there at once. He arrived at once to save his disciple, who had got himself into such a scrap. Scrap means difficulty because of his love for food. As soon as he arrived, he scolded the disciple and told him something in a whisper. Then he went to the king and addressed him, "O wisest of kings, who is greater, the Guru or the disciple?" So as soon when he reached over there, he started scolding the disciple and told him something in a whisper, in a very slow voice. Then he went to the king and addressed him. How he addressed the king? "O wisest of kings, who is greater, the Guru or the disciple?" "Of course, the Guru, no doubt about it. Why do you ask?" The king replied, "It was the Guru. There is no doubt about it." Then he wanted to know why he asked such a question. "Then put me to the stake first. Put my disciple to death after me." The Guru said that he should be put to the stake first and later the disciple. Disciple should be executed after my death. When the disciple heard this, he understood and began to clamor, "Me first, you brought me here first, put me to death first, not him." When the disciple, he was just listening to those words, he understood what his Guru wanted and he began to shout, started making noise, "Me first." He shouted that he should be the first to be hanged and not the Guru. The Guru and the disciple now got into a fight about who should go first. The king was puzzled by this behavior. He asked the Guru, "Why do you want to die?" "We chose him because we needed a fat man for the stake." So now king was very much confused because they both started fighting. And king could not take a decision who should be hanged first, the Guru or the disciple. He asked the Guru, "Why do you want to die?" Why he wanted to die. And the king even explained to Guru that they had chosen the disciple because they wanted a fat man who could easily fit into a stake. "You shouldn't ask me such questions. Put me to death first," replied the Guru. The Guru said the king should not ask him such questions. He should put him to death first. Why? There is some mystery here. As a wise man, you must make me understand. The king thought that there was certainly some mystery behind this and he wanted to understand that. "Will you promise to put me to death if I tell you?" asked the Guru. The Guru then asked the king to promise him that he would put him to death first if he told him the reason. The king gave him his solemn word. Solemn means serious words. The king agreed and gave his words. The Guru took him aside out of the servant's earshot and whispered to him. Earshot means within hearing distance. Do you know why we want to die right now, the two of us? We have been all over the world, but we have never found a city like this or a king like you. That stake is a stake of God of justice. It's new. It has never had a criminal on it. Whoever dies on it first will be reborn as a king of this country, and whoever goes next will be the future minister of this country. We are sick of our ascetic life, saintly life. It would be nice to enjoy ourselves as king and minister for a while. Now keep your word, my lord, and put us to death. Me first remember. So as king agreed and he gave his words, the Guru took him aside away from his servants and spoke to him in a very low voice. The Guru told the reason that why both of them wanted to die was that after wandering all over, they had not seen a city or a king like him. He said that the stake was the stake of God's justice, and it's new. It has never had a criminal on it before. Whoever dies first will be reborn as the king of the country, and whoever went next would be the country's future minister. He said that they were both tired of living like saints, living like a saintly life, and wanted to enjoy the life of a king and a minister. So saying, the Guru asked the king to keep his promise and kill him. My lord, and put us to death, me first remember. The king was now thrown into deep thought. The king started thinking very seriously. He didn't want to lose the kingdom to someone else in the next round of life. He needed time. He did not want anyone else to be the king of his kingdom in the next birth. He wanted some time to think over it. So he ordered the execution postponed to the next day. So he postponed the execution to the next day and talked in secret with his minister and started discussing something with his minister. It is not right for us to give over the kingdom to others in the next life. Let's go on the stake ourselves and we will be reborn as king and minister again. Holy men do not tell lies, he said, and the minister agreed. He consulted his minister and said that it was not right for them to give up their positions as king and ministers to someone else. So it would be better if they went on the stakes themselves. So the minister agreed. So he told the executioners means an official who carries out a sentence of death on a condemned. We'll send the criminals tonight. When the first man comes to you, put him to death first. Then do the same to the second man. Those are my orders. Don't make any mistake. So the king ordered the executioners, the officials, those who were going to execute, that they will send the criminals away that night secretly. Whoever comes to him first should be hanged, and then do the same with the second man. He told them not to disobey. That night, the king and his minister went secretly to the prison, released the Guru and the disciple, disguised themselves as the two, and as arranged beforehand with loyal servants, were taken to the stake and promptly executed. So that night, according to the decision taken by the king and his minister, they went secretly to the prison house and made the Guru and the disciple free. They disguised themselves. They hid themselves as the two, and as arranged beforehand, they were taken to the stakes by their loyal servants. And they were executed quickly. Promptly means quickly. Loyal means sincere. When the bodies were taken down to be thrown to crows and vultures, these are kind of birds that eat flesh, the people panicked. They were afraid of, they started getting panicked. They saw before them the dead bodies of the king and the minister. The city was in confusion. So that night, the bodies were taken down to be thrown to the cows and vultures. So people felt afraid of when they saw the dead bodies of the king and his minister. and the city was in utter confusion. They all started mourning the death of the king and the minister. They mourned the whole night and discussed the future of the kingdom and who should rule next. All night they mourned and discussed the future of the kingdom. Some people suddenly thought of the guru and the disciple and caught up with them as they were preparing to leave town unnoticed. We people need a king and a minister, said someone. Others agreed. They begged the guru and the disciple to be their king and their minister. It didn't take many arguments to persuade the disciple, but it took longer to persuade the guru. They finally agreed to rule the kingdom of the foolish king and the silly minister on the condition that they could change all the old laws. From them on, night would again be night and day would again be day, and you could get nothing for a doo-doo. It became like any other place. So some people who were there, they remembered the guru and his disciple. They caught up with them just as they were preparing to leave the city. Unnoticed. Unnoticed means without being seen. So the people told them that they are also in the need of a king and a minister. So they begged them to take these positions. The disciple agreed instantly in one go, but it took the people a long time to convince the guru. Finally, the guru agreed to rule the kingdom of fools, but on a condition that they would change all the laws. From them on, they reverted to the natural day and night activities, and the prices for all the goods were regularized. The country was now ruled like any other country. So the title of the story, In the Kingdom of Fools, is a story very much appropriate. It's a story about a kingdom ruled by a foolish king and his silly ministers. The people too are foolish, for they obey the most ridiculous orders passed by their king. And the entire action of the story takes place in this kingdom. The reason that make this place a kingdom of fools are well explained by the episodes in which innocent people are caught one after the other in the name of justice. So the title of the lesson also is very much appropriate and justified. Dear students, you can press the I button to get the link to the first part of this lesson. Thank you.